Well, my name is Gene Turner, and my homestead is right down on the corner down here by the bridge, built in 1846, and I've lived here in this community for 70 years. As a matter of fact, I just had my 70th birthday. A lot of the history that's in this town was owned by Gene Yacht. He knew a lot of this stuff, and he's a relation of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away. But this used to be a church right here on the corner. The St. Mary's Church used to be right on the corner there. And in 1900, they built a new church up on where it's at now. And this building here, I believe, was the rectory for that church. And there was another building in between here, according to some of the maps. And I believe that might have been the carriage house, at that time they had horses when people came to church. That church got torn down in 1905. A guy bought that church in 1905 and he tore it down piece by piece and sold all the pieces. Eventually, I guess there was some complaints that it took him a long time to sell a lot of the parts. So this building here was erected for the pastor and probably some other assistants or whatever in 1860. So this is a building that's 160 years old. Unfortunately, it's a sad day for the Barton Historic District when we lose a building to the city of West Bend that's 160 years old. We don't lose many, but this is one of them. It's hard to bring back history. It's easy to take it down. You can never replace it. That's about as much as I know about the building. It's hard to find things out about any of these buildings that are older than being built in 1860. If you get back beyond that, there's very few records of what was done and who owned what, who built it and how they built it. I don't know. It would be nice to get a lot more information, but I don't have it. We were taking it down, and maybe some of your camera footage will show it. There's actually 3 walls on this building. 3 walls of brick. The internal brick was the standard sand brick that was white in color. They call it Cream City brick, in Milwaukee especially. On the outside of that brick was the pink brick. And I used to call this, I've been here for 70 years, as I mentioned. I used to call this the pink lady because it had that pink brick on it, and there are no other buildings with pink brick on it. And I believe that they either had that made special at the brickyards here in West Bend or in Barton at the Barton Brickyard, or they maybe had it shipped in from Milwaukee at that time. The brickyard may not have been running at that time. But that's an unusual color. And you won't find any other buildings that I know of in West Bend that are that color, with that pink brick. Unfortunately, they're all lost because nowadays we don't take things down piece by piece, we take them down with a big machine. There was actually a piece of stained glass in the front window yet. That gentleman over here, Jeff, that owns the Wisconsin house, he was trying to get that piece of stained glass. And he told me yesterday he was going to trade a door for that piece of stained glass. And they wouldn't allow him to get in there because they had the tape around the building and they couldn't retrieve that piece of stained glass. So that would have been the last piece that we would have been saved. Now you see what it is. Scrap. Yeah, I'm good with that. Like I say, I have mixed feelings about it. I understand the people next door, they don't like it because it's an eyesore. Well, when you live in a historical district, if you look out your window and you don't like what you see, you need to move. Because what you see is what the history has brought here. And you can't change that. And you can repair it, you can improve on it, but you can't change it dramatically. And so it's unfortunate that some of the neighbors, which you ran into, are a little upset by the notoriety that this building has brought and the fact that it was not taken care of. I think it's better when you have people that are living in the area, like Jeff over here takes care of his building. He owns the building, he lives there. I take care of my building. My building's 170 years old. I take care of the building. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of expense, but that's how it is when you own a historic building. There's just a lot of expense expenses and a lot of work that you need to do. And
Why do you think it's worth it?
I think we're all. I'm gonna call us. We're the managers, we're the managers of the history of this area. The people that own these buildings are managing this history. We're going to pass on, and these buildings are still going to be here, and somebody else is going to come along, and they're going to manage that building, and they're going to manage the history of this area. And I think that's what makes it worthwhile doing that, because then you can say, you know what, I did the best I could do. This guy obviously couldn't do as good a job as some of us that live here all the time. When you're a distance away, it's difficult to take care of your building. But and so sometimes you lose a building. It's not the first one we've lost. I'm sure it won't be the last one. But we're trying very hard to keep them in good repair. So.